Oh, where do we even begin? Seriously, another cancelled Star Wars game. I am so done with this. Like, how many cancelled Star Wars games have we had now? I don't even know. Like, seriously, I think the last 10 years, we probably had 10 cancelled Star Wars games, the majority of which have been from EA. You know, Visceral's game, which then turned into another game and was cancelled, and then turned into another game and was cancelled, and then the Battlefront spin-off by Criterion that was cancelled, and then more recently the KOTOR remake, which is kind of semi-cancelled. I'm not even sure what's going on with Star Wars games. And it seems like the entire video game industry is struggling hard. I mean, you guys know about all the layoffs that have been the last couple of months from Activision, Sony, and now most recently EA, today laying off more than 600 developers. So what does this actually mean? Well, one of the teams that was hit the hardest was Respawn, and they have now officially cancelled the Respawn Star Wars FPS game, which just last week was leaked that it was a Mandalorian game, and all the details about it honestly sounded awesome, like some type of bounty hunter Titanfall game. I was so stoked for it. Even if the game would only have been a single player game, it sounded amazing, and honestly, out of all the games in the works, it kind of sounded the most exciting. But less than a week after getting my hopes up on this game, they now announce that it's cancelled. And they spew so much bullshit. For instance, Andrew Wilson in his internal memo talks about how they are moving away from development of future licensed IP that we do not believe will be successful in our changing industry. Absolute horseshit. Oh yeah, because the Star Wars games have been such massive failures. Even Battlefront 2, with literally the worst launch in video game history, was still eventually a success with so many players, such a happy community, such a great development team, all of it, which is great. Sure, it wasn't making a ton of money in the end, but it showed the potential. But apparently Star Wars is something they do not believe will be successful in their changing industry. But just to be clear here, the Jedi game, the third Jedi game, is still in development, so that one seems to be, at least for now, unaffected. But the Star Wars FPS game is dead. There's another game on the pile of cancelled Star Wars games. On top of this, they're actually completely shutting down Marcus Lehto's Ridgeline Games, which was the studio that was actually focused completely on Battlefield and creating a new Battlefield single-player experience, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of people were very hyped to see Marcus Lehto, who was one of the creators of the original Halo games, to now lead Battlefield. But then just, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, he announced that he was leaving EA, which had people thinking, oh shit, they're gonna shut down Ridgeline Games. Well, it was worse than that. Laying off 600 plus people, shutting down Ridgeline Games, shutting down the Star Wars FPS. I don't know if the Bit Reactor Star Wars game is still safe. They haven't mentioned that as far as I know, but based on what they're saying about moving away from licensed IP, I guess that game's kind of screwed as well. One thing I think we can say for certain is that if there was a 1% chance that EA or DICE were making Battlefront 3, that's now a 0% chance. If anyone ever touches the Battlefront franchise again, it will not be EA. That is for certain. It might be Activision or something like that, but even Activision are doing layoffs. And it seems like, honestly, the Star Wars games are in for a tough future. Sure, there are a lot of projects in the works, but a lot of them could be cancelled. The only one I really believe in right now is Star Wars Outlaws. I think that game is so far into development that it's probably still happening. But with all the issues in the video game industry, all the layoffs and probably very, very slim margins, I'm guessing that the extra cost to make Star Wars games is something that people will be afraid of. It's such a wrong way to see it. I mean, I don't know exactly how much Lucasfilm or Disney takes percentage-wise, but they lose money on Star Wars games not being created. So they could just, I don't know, cut down on the profits on Star Wars games and give most of that to the studios and developers. And I honestly don't think they have a problem doing that. But it wouldn't surprise me if EA sees games like Helldivers or Palworld created from own franchises thinking, oh, we can do the same. Because how many times haven't they tried that with games like Anthem, which goes to shit, compared to if they would actually have done the Star Wars games that sure might cost a little bit license-wise, is a much higher chance that it's going to be a success. And obviously just having it linked to the Star Wars universe means you're going to sell more copies, which means you're going to make more money. even if you have to pay more percentage-wise per copy sold to Disney or Lucasfilm. It's such a backwards way to approach Star Wars games, and I know that they're mentioning licensed IP here in general, but it's obvious that Star Wars is the big thing they're referring to, considering that the Star Wars FPS game is the game that's being cancelled. Battlefield is their own franchise, but they're still shutting down that studio. I don't really know why, considering that I really thought Battlefield was the thing they wanted to focus hard on right now. But I guess DICE are still making the next Battlefield game, and that's probably happening no matter what. They are, however, saying that the work that was begun on the Battlefield single-player campaign will continue. But honestly, right now, I don't care about Battlefield at all. I'm just sick of all of these cancelled Star Wars games, and I am willing to bet that we are gonna have another cancelled Star Wars game this year. Whether it's gonna be Star Wars Eclipse, or the Amy Hennig Star Wars game, or maybe a game that we don't even know about that's gonna pop up sounding awesome but being cancelled from the get-go, I don't know. But this alone made me extremely pessimistic for the future of Star Wars games. I was pretty optimistic, if I'm gonna be honest, because there sounded like there was a lot of Star Wars games that were cool in the works, but now, not so much. I just hope that Star Wars Outlaws comes out and is amazing and is a huge hit, so that people will see that Star Wars games are worth making, even though I thought the Star Wars Jedi games already proved that. Something that I found to be really weird here as well, in regards to this entire article by IGN in particular, is that they're saying that EA is undertaking this move in part due to what it perceives to be a rapid shift toward large open world games, massive communities, and live service games. Well, make a Battlefront game then. Like seriously, that's literally what we've been asking for I don't know how long. And then instead they said, oh, we're gonna make single player games. And then they canceled those single player games, saying that they wanna make the games that we asked for. Like, I'm just getting more pissed the more I talk about this. And I think I've made my point very clear. They keep shooting themselves in the foot. They keep wasting, I don't know how many millions and millions and millions of dollars on development that then just gets cancelled, when I feel like it's still pretty clear what the community want. I'm not just saying Battlefront here, but I mean, haven't really every Star Wars game that actually has been released so far been a success? I'm pretty sure Battlefront 1, Battlefront 2, Squadrons, Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order have all made big profits. None of them have flopped hard like Anthem or something like that. Yet, they're still cancelling and cancelling and cancelling. It is just so whack, but I'm gonna stop rambling now and go to bed because it's very late. I appreciate you guys listening in as always. At least we do have the Battlefront Classic collection coming out next month, so that's always something to look forward to, but I want new stuff too. I mean, the new stuff is what's gonna bring the Star Wars community forward. But yeah, if we get any more updates on this, I will have another video out probably later in the week, but I feel like they're gonna be quiet as always and not tell us jack shit, because that's usually how it works. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.